We're continuing the development of an all-new city here in Easthaven County, and we've just completed a major milestone by laying down most of the inner city road layout, complete with an organic, slightly chaotic feel inspired by the city of Boston. Today we're initiating the build process by building important services and utilities, as well as creating the very first neighborhoods. And I'd be surprised if we didn't manage to sneak in a bit of infrastructure as well. Okay, so we are gonna need to provide services and utilities before we can realistically build any neighborhoods, otherwise those are not gonna be well-functioning neighborhoods. And I guess we need to start with utilities, because otherwise the service buildings won't really service anything. Our train station is kind of hinting what's up and what needs to be done. We need to provide electricity, fresh water, and of course implement a sewage system. And I think we're gonna start with electricity. So I'm just gonna move up to the menu here and check our current grid situation. So we're producing 37 megawatts against a consumption of 31. And the production here in Easthaven is split between two main sectors. We have the aptly named Chowder Bay Clean Coal Power Plant here at Chowder Bay North Harbor, producing 19.2 megawatts. And then if we move to the very far northern end of Cape Autumn, way out here in the rural countryside, we have the Cape Autumn wind turbine farm, and each of these produce between 2 and 4-ish. So they pretty much make up the remaining production capacity up to the 37 mark. And I don't expect our current production capacity to be able to properly service a new city here, but expanding our production facilities is going to be pretty expensive, and I'm barely making money currently. So what I think we'll do is that as we, progress here, add more service buildings, add a few neighborhoods, we're just gonna carefully monitor the situation, and then we're going to look into expanding production capabilities when it becomes absolutely necessary. Now, actually supplying the power through the game mechanics to the island is of course pretty easy. We could just grab the cable here, run them underground from any one street here in Chowder Bay, and that would be it. But I think realistically, it would be some pretty hefty cables, with a large cross-sectional area and lots of insulation carrying a lot of electricity to the new island here. So to just kind of complicate things a bit, make things a little more expensive, hopefully more realistic, even though I could be completely wrong here, I'm going to place a transformer station on either end of this river here to kind of symbolize that it's a very significant amount of power we're trying to transfer here. So I need somewhere to place it on this side here, and oh man, this is even zonable. Oh, whoa, look at the pillars we're gonna get created here if we place it underneath the train tracks. Do we want that? I kind of want that. That looks really cool. I'm gonna try and place that here. It automatically levels the terrain, which is perfect. It added this different set of, yeah, we're gonna look the other way. That looks just fine. So we've got this placed now, and then I'll place a transformer station over here as well. Needlessly expensive, it's eating into our profits, but hopefully it's gonna be a little more realistic. We've got a bit of a small industrial cluster down here, so maybe we'll just kind of place it at the edge of this road here. And I kind of flattened the train a little bit, but I think we can fix that up real quick, make it a little more seamlessly integrated. All right, so for the actual power lines, we're gonna drag a proper power line through here and just move directly across, I guess. I mean, much of it actually, I guess the cable segment underneath the water would be more expensive to build. So building it, I wonder if building it above ground is actually less expensive to build it with these towers here. So till around this place, and then move underground to about here. And then I'm wondering if the towers can actually even handle the elevation differences here. It seems like they can, so we're just gonna place that up and see how that looks. I don't actually know if you do it like this, but I'm assuming that building it above ground, even with this extensive metal structure, is actually cheaper than below ground. And I just need to fix this connection and we should have power. Now onwards to water and sewage, and let's check our current production capacity. So sewage, we don't have to do anything for a long time, unsurprisingly, because the wastewater treatment plant, which is very expensive, but it's something I want to prioritize. I don't want to dump poop water into our beautiful oceans. Fortunately, it has a ton of capacity as well, and it's also producing a bit of water output. In fact, it's producing 1/3 or more than 1/3 of our total output currently. So that's pretty nice. We're not gonna touch that. Water availability though is looking a little finicky. I don't think we have the adequate capacity for all that much expansion over here. Actually, let's just see. We've got about 37,000 cubic meters of production here. And then, of course, we have a groundwater pumping station here in Cape Autumn. So what we might end up doing is actually place an additional groundwater pumping station on this island here, because I just noticed we have a bit of groundwater resources, which is a very pleasant surprise. We could go for a water tower as well, which would be, I mean, that would be stupid. Like look at the difference here. The regular water tower has an upkeep of 10,000 bucks a month at 30,000 production, and the groundwater pumping station is 30% cheaper each month, but it has more than twice the production capacity. Obviously, it's a bigger upfront cost, but it's 40k against a budget of 3 million. So I think we are able to shoulder this expense. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a no-brainer, and I think the cool thing is we don't have to place it in the very central part here. It's going to have full utilization even if we move to these lighter parts as well. So if I'm lucky, I'm even able to like place it where it's partly underneath the highway here, which I think would be very, very cool. Actually, let's just, now that I know there's capacity here, I just want to kind of see how that would look. Can I place it directly underneath? I probably can't, but I can certainly place it here and expect full performance. Yoink. That looks pretty good, kind of hidden away, and you often see that if there are any types of developments like partly underneath interstates or even in these awkward spaces in between on and off ramps, it's mainly industrial stuff. The piping was automatically connected, so now I just need a sewage pipe to handle our sewage output. And this is where I want to connect to the main sewage network we have here in Chowder Bay. So I mean, I don't know if there's anything else to do but to just connect it. I mean, ideally I'm going to connect it from here because this is our wastewater treatment plant. So I am assuming that would be fairly realistic. And then we're just going to run it, maybe run it underneath the infrastructure we built for the power cables. Maybe they would fix both at the same time. That would be smart, I guess, would be a logical thing to do. And we'll just bring the connection in here. Something like that. Ooh, the engineers made a bit of a mess here. Yeah, we need to go a little deeper, it seems. And obviously it's hard now to actually pick. Now I can grab the cable here, no problem at all. It needs to go a bit deeper than 10 meters, it seems. Otherwise, we're gonna have some very weird issues. So we're just gonna snap to here and we'll go 30 meters down and connect. And that sorted everything. We now have completely seamless, invisible poop canals running underneath the water canal. The moment of truth is, of course, hitting play and seeing these things disappear or face embarrassment. Great success. Alright, so the first major service I would like to develop here is one which might bring financial ruin as it is massively expensive. But I really do think we need a proper hospital because currently we have sufficient coverage, but it's nothing more than that. I mean, we've got the Chowder Bay Medical Clinic. here in Uptown in Chowder Bay, and then I think up here, yeah, we've got West Point Medical Clinic just north of downtown West Point. So the coverage is fine, but if you need any kind of specialized treatment or care, you have to go to Providence or maybe even Boston. And I think if this city is supposed to grow into the new hub, the new financial and political hub of Easthaven County, it should have a proper medical center. The only issue is, though, if we move into healthcare and death care, the vanilla hospital model, I am not a fan. It just looks kind of funky. The Health Research Institute building, though, is actually pretty nice looking, so I think we might have to jump into the asset editor and see if we can't turn this building into an actual hospital. So creating this quote-unquote custom hospital was rather simple. I just clicked Add Object, I grabbed the Health Research Institute, I placed it, and then I clicked Duplicate Template, placed the duplication, it's this one. I named it Main Hospital because I'm not a very creative person. And within this building, we actually have this hospital tab here. Now, all of these are at 0 when you initially duplicate this asset. So what I did was I placed the regular hospital, and I just had a little look at the stats this one has for the hospital. So 30, 500, 30, 0, 100. So I pretty much just kind of took inspiration from that, and I figured, okay, the ambulance and patient capacity would probably be slightly lower, given that, I mean, it's a bit of a smaller asset in total, and the treatment bonus would be a little smaller as well, and that's pretty much it. I hit save and hoped that would work. So I've done a bit of testing in-game to make sure this works, and it does actually function as a hospital. But I also noticed something that was giving me a big economical advantage, because I hadn't changed the construction or the upkeep costs for this new asset. So what I've done is I've checked the hospital, which is insanely expensive. It's 1.9 million to build, it's 225,000 upkeep a month, and I've kind of used those values to reflect the new values I've changed here. So I have bumped the construction cost from 1 million to 1,250,000. But more importantly, I have doubled the upkeep cost from 80,000 a month to 160,000 a month. And I've done this because I don't want any unfair advantage or whatever you'd call it. I still want the economical challenge to be a very important thing here in Easthaven County, and this will certainly ensure that it continues to be that. Now our new fancy hospital is showing up here in the healthcare menu. No title and description because I don't know how to add that, but that's less important as long as it works, and I know it does. So let's just get this bad boy, this expensive bad boy, unlocked. We'll have to spend 2 points to unlock the hospital, which allows us to also unlock the Health Research Institute with another 8 points. But it's fine, I never spent my points anyways, as you guys kindly let me know. I now have it unlocked right here. I guess the next big part is actually getting the placement correct. Just gonna disable Anarchy here because our city streets are so tight and random and intertwined, but that's exactly what we're going for. So first challenge is getting this placed without doing major revamps. There are some open spots here and there. I guess this area here alongside Fawn Street is actually quite nice. Because it actually fits the building, but it's also, I think it's a good place to have a major hospital placed, because it's going to be in a transition zone from the dense urban core of downtown, and then some of these more mixed density areas that are going to surround downtown. So maybe I should just place this without Anarchy, just a regular vanilla placement. Yoink! Yeah, that was massively expensive, and we are running a sizable deficit now, so yeah. I mean, I guess the good thing with placing all these services is that we are slowly going to accumulate a bigger deficit, so we need to bring in more taxpayers, so we are forced to build actual neighborhoods in this episode. I'm gonna upgrade a couple of streets here with some keys, because we have a bit of an elevation difference. Actually, just adding a key here pretty much fixed that. So I guess I'm gonna keep King Street as is. We can place some more bushes here and whatnot. And then I think the next thing I have to worry about is parking. We've got a tiny bit of parking here, which I imagine is primarily for the staff. So let's just jump into the parking menu and see what we can actually find. I have this overground parking building by Dome, which is a wonderfully ugly asset, and I mean that in the best possible way. And I kind of want to try and splice that together with the building. I don't think that's gonna mess with any of the pathfinding, so I'm gonna enable Anarchy and probably move it real close to the building here. Actually, maybe that's perfect. Oh, that's giving me an issue or two. Actually, I can upgrade this. So I think I'm gonna add the upgrade as well. And that actually fixed it. Interesting. Let's just check the placement. This is looking a little finicky. So I'm gonna move it here and see if I can just move it back here. And that actually looks quite all right. I'm gonna grab the better Bulldozer mod and say remove sub-elements to get rid of these bushes here. Get rid of this hedge as well, just so I don't have things kind of clipping into the parking building here. And that's pretty good. I think if there's one additional change I want to make, it's play around with the colors here with the recolor mod a bit. I mean, this looks good, but I think I might want to go for like a white or a black. I'm gonna try black for now, see how that feels. It looks a little more custom with it, and it doesn't scream as much, which I kind of like. It also blends a little better with the parking garage. Now, before I place any additional services, something I want to make sure I do before I run out of money, which is going to be a very realistic outcome today, is I want to upgrade the train station. So I'm going to upgrade with the extra platforms. I am going to upgrade with the station services. And then I need to figure out some kind of way to like customize the station here. And I think what I want to do is maybe keep this parking lot, but try and remove this one and instead place some signature buildings here so that we have like a more modern main train station or central train station. They have usually been expanded upon with like modern buildings, old buildings, all that good stuff. So we're just going to try it out. Better Bulldozer once more. I just want to get rid of the parking wherever I can. Seems like I can get rid of most of the parking here. And the next step is going to be signature buildings. So we'll go for signature. And we'll just click the building here. And I kind of want like a modern corner. Maybe this part of the station is modernized. And then out front here, we'll have some kind of old building to represent the actual train station structure. Because this one is kind of like a weird brutalist design. I don't really like it. So maybe if we grab the activity plaza here and we kind of flip it, or actually I can't, I can flip it like this. Maybe I want that. So I'm just gonna align that as close to the road as I can. Something like this. And then better Bulldozer, just gonna remove these lights here so that I don't have that clipping onto the road. So that's the first signature building. Then I need something modern here as well to kind of cover the tracks, I guess. And I think we have like a shopping mall, Fashion Square. So we're just trying things out now, see how this works. And I want to kind of align that to the entrance we have down here by this building. And I want to make sure I cover up the tracks sufficiently. So I'll just place it here and better Bulldozer to get rid of these fountains. Get rid of the fences, these bushes, benches, places to store the non-existing bicycles in the game. Wow, that's almost like rubbing it in. Getting that removed, and this is looking pretty good, I think. Now I need the old original station building to be placed here, and this is gonna look like it's like a modern add-on that's kind of fused into it. So let's see, we're probably gonna go for some signature stuff as well. We have this version here, which looks quite nice. I think this building might just be a little too big. Yeah, and it's not old enough. Let's try something else. Let's find one of the apartment buildings, the old factory condos. I actually think that could work. Let's just see if I can kind of fuse that in. Move that a bit further back so that it kind of covers the station. I'll place one. And maybe we can kind of move this one a bit forward to have like a sort of an asymmetrical look. I'll place one here. And maybe we'll move back again and kind of align it the same way as the other one. So this parking lot is still fully cleared, which is nice. And I really like how this is looking. All right, better bulldozer once more. I need to get rid of some of these sub-elements here. These bushes, I guess, can stay. These have to go. The small ones have to go. And it's the same deal over here. The fence have to go. And I guess, can I remove like... I don't want to remove all of the fences here. So I think I'm just going to keep that. I'm going to remove these bushes though. I have to remove the fence, don't I? Yeah. Oh, well. Not a big deal. And I think this actually looks really, really nice for an entrance to the original train station here. And I want to kind of try one thing that I'm really not sure... Whoa, what is this? Yeah, that would look nice. That I'm really not sure is going to work. But I'm hopeful that I might be able to like place an additional one of these. And then grab it with move it, and we'll move it back to about here maybe, and then I'm gonna see if I can elevate it without causing terrain-ish. I can't. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. It is going to cause terrain issues. What if I move it further back? Like, is there any way of salvaging this situation? I'm not sure. I'm gonna try and move it even further back, but it has to be connected to the road, so this is about as far as we can go. I don't think that's... yeah, it's still gonna cause some issues, but maybe I can cover this up somehow. Just want to see how that looks from back here. It actually, I mean, it looks pretty good, doesn't it? I think that makes the building just look a little more majestic. We do have some issues here though. I'm not sure how I'm gonna solve that. Alternatively, I bring these buildings forward. Maybe that's actually just gonna work. I mean, maybe I can just do that. That kind of works actually. That kind of fixes the elevation issues I'm having. It's not perfect, but yeah. You can barely see it now. You know what? We're gonna let some trees save the day as always. I think if I place a few major chestnuts here, everything is gonna look just fine because you can't see it. Now, when has that ever been a bad tactic? So I've done just a bit of additional tweaking and alignment, and I think we have a winner here. It's very close to the sidewalk and the road, but I really don't mind, and I am really liking how well fused this looks. It really looks like this is like a couple of modern additions to the station here. Now there's an extra detail I want to try out because the trains are gonna stop somewhere here, so I want to kind of make it a little less visible that they're basically gonna ram into the Fashion Square building here. And I have this idea from one of the rural areas out on Cape Autumn, something we might be able to use as like a roof of some sort. Actually, let's just move out here. Where are they? Yeah, these greenhouses here, which I manually placed. I'm gonna try and grab one of these, and we'll move all the way back here and see if I can actually place this in a way. Actually, let's just flip that, because there are a few props attached to this as well. We'll flip that and we'll just try and kind of add it in here as a completely natural extension. Completely natural. and I think this is about the right alignment. I'll need to select it, would move it and bring it up, of course, to maybe about, well, we need plenty of space for the trains, so it actually needs to be here, I guess, is fine. And then better bulldozer, I'll get rid of all these bushes, of course. And I am pretty happy with how this looks, actually. That turned out much better than expected. The question is if I should add like one more to make the look complete. I guess we'll try. See if I can select that once more. I'm gonna use the toolbox mode here to set to this object height. And it seems like we need a bit of an adjustment as well. So just gonna try and adjust it as well as I can. We'll remove these boxes here, and we'll remove these elements. And yeah, actually the colors here are a little oh, we can switch the colors. How cool is that? I think I'm gonna copy the colors from this one and try and apply that, so we have these white pieces as well. And I think that is our central station. And we just need to place a few additional essential services, and then I'll start working on this neighborhood here. But before I do any of that, I just want to get a few train lines going. I'm not going to name them or like customize them right now. I just want to kind of create them. So the main one here that stops right in front of the main building is going to, of course, serve Chowder Bay. And then it's going to move all the way up to Boston. So that's going to be our first major line that we'll be seeing. Then I want a line on this platform, I think, that is going to be a direct connection between the new city here and the city of West Point. So we move up here, add an additional stop. We move back and get that connected up. And then I want a direct line as well between the new city and Chowder Bay. And yeah, saying new city is kind of awkward. I'm working on a vote so that we can decide on the name. But for now, I'm just too excited to continue building. And I think to actually utilize this other platform here, I kind of need to create a connection here, as I just noticed that's missing. So I'll just create that. And yeah, because we don't have a connection between this one way to this segment. That's all fixed up now. So let's grab the passenger train tool here, and I think we'll go for, I mean, it could also be fun to try and actually utilize all the platforms here. So I think I'm actually gonna use this one. And we'll just get our direct connection to Chowder Bay. And I think I'll use, not that one, this one, so that we're starting to use a few additional platforms. That's going to look more busy, it's going to look better. And I think that's about it. So I don't really want to change anything. I just want to check the sizes of the trains that are going to be spawning here. And it seems like it's going to be some smaller trains based on, it's just going to be two by 3s. So what is this? Train line 3, that's gonna be the bigger line. Train line 4, I actually think I just want a 3-segment train. And I want a 3-segment train for train line 5 as well. Because these are the small commuter routes, and then train line 3 here is the one that actually goes to Boston. So we could use a bigger train here. And let's just go for 6 segments. And with these in place, I'm just going to move over here to the rail yard in North and West Point and just make sure our trains actually spawn. And it seems they do. It seems everything is working as intended. So that's one of the commuter trains. This is the Boston going train, another Boston going train, a commuter train, and another Boston going train. We can adjust the amount of trains as we move along. For now, I just really like to have these lines in place so that when we actually start developing neighborhoods a little later on in the episode, we're gonna be able to bring people in very, very easily. Anyways, our deficit is ever growing, and we're gonna make it worse now by providing some essential services. I definitely need a fire station. And this is a really, really nice place to use the new like inner city type fire station that we got with the Detailer's patch. And I kind of want to add it somewhere alongside, what's this called? Cozy Street. I'll probably be renaming that. But I want it alongside the major street here so that it can reach different areas, because if we have industrial fires, we need to be able to reach that quite easily as well. So I'm just gonna grab a spot here. It's not so important where it is. It could be here between Cozy Street and Barlow Lane. Yoink. I need some policing. Once again, we have a new station, which is more inner city like. We can place somewhere here. And once again, placing it somewhere alongside a major avenue feels like a pretty good idea. So I think for now, we're just gonna place it here alongside Fawn Street and Mulberry Street. Yoink. And then finally, I probably need a school, because the education system here isn't... Actually, it is terrible, but the worst thing is the elementary school, so that's something I need to work on. Now, I would really love to use this new city elementary school. It's just a very, very big asset. So it's going to dictate the scale of some of the other buildings we place here in downtown. Which I'm actually not too happy about currently. So I think we're just gonna start with the small elementary school we have here, and we can add some extensions to it as well. So I don't want to place this in like the downtown core, because the building really isn't all that tall, you know, it's kind of spread out. So maybe if we just add it... Yeah, where are we actually adding this? I mean, this is also going to be pretty high density, so... I might actually just opt for this block here, and then maybe place 2 of them and use the extensions extensively to kind of create our very own like school complex. So let's just try that, because I just need a lot of capacity, and I guess as long as we place 2 and we add in a ton of these extension wings, then we are going to get a very high capacity eventually. So let's just see how we can align this. If I flip this around and connect this to the main building, kind of align the roof lining here, then I think I can create a few. Actually, let's remove this one. And we'll just expand on this one for starters, just to see how much capacity we can actually get going here. So let's see, where can I align this one? Maybe here, and we'll see if we can squeeze in one more on this angle. We can. Then we'll flip this and see if we can squeeze in a segment by the road here. And can we even get... We can get an additional one here. And we're at 900 capacity now. Ooh, that one is actually causing a slight issue. So I'm just gonna try and... Yeah, if I move that forward a bit, then that did help. So we're still sitting at around 900 capacity, which I think is actually pretty good. This doesn't increase capacity, it just adds attractiveness, so I don't really care about that for now. Can I squeeze in one more, or is that going to cause issues? Yay, 1000. So I think this is fine, and it kind of, I mean, it's a bit of an odd design, but it honestly kind of works for this odd sized lot as well. And I think for good measure, I'll also just be adding this custom mini elementary school from PDX Mods. It's a pretty small, nice looking asset, so I should be able to just kind of squeeze that into one of these corner lots here. Do I need to add the upgraded parking? I mean, I probably don't, but it actually looks kind of nice. So yeah, I'm just gonna add it. I can remove it if it's if this area gets too dense to really justify surface parking. While not perfect, this has certainly improved the elementary school situation a little bit here. We're getting there. We're also getting to an imminent bankruptcy, so it's time I pause the game and I pause any more service building construction, because now we need to bring in some taxpayers so that we can actually try and reverse this massive deficit I'm facing. And I want to do things in kind of a reverse order than how I usually do it for a new city. So instead of building the downtown first, I am going to start with some of the surrounding inner city areas and then proceed with the downtown. That's probably going to be in a separate episode. So what I kind of want to start doing is actually just kind of lay out what I consider downtown in the first place. Because what is the actual downtown core of our city? I mean, the train station is obviously a focal point in downtown, but I think what would that be? Let's just see. This is north. So I guess the northern edge of downtown is going to run alongside Cozy Street. And then maybe the western edge is actually going to be alongside Fawn Street here. I think we're going to do something like that. So let's just try and map this out. Alongside Fawn Street, we move down Cozy Street, and then maybe, yeah, where's the natural boundary here? I think that would be Sycamore Street. So let's just see how this is actually how this is going to pan out. We move in here and we try this layout maybe, so that it's not completely square. I kind of like that, it's pretty interesting. And we'll just name it downtown for now. I'm not gonna name it downtown new city, guys. And we'll need additional districts. So the area I want to work on is this area here. So that's just south of downtown. And I think we can have this be a separate district as well. So I'm gonna try and disable snapping because I don't want to run into any issues. Sorry, disable Anarchy is what I meant. I don't think you're gonna run into issues by having Anarchy on when you're creating districts, but I just want to make sure, for now at least. So I'll just create a district here that has its boundaries towards Fawn Street and Sunnyside Street over here. And then I am going to create a district that I think is going to be this entire area here within the Interstate 25 segment of the city. So we'll just follow the highway here, follow the off-ramps more specifically, and get an additional district going. Now, full of creativity, I think we're gonna name this Lakeside. Several of you guys commented that whatever I do, I shouldn't remove this lake because it's a nice feature, and I agree. I'm not gonna do anything to it. This is also why the road layout accommodates the river, not the other way around. Now this is called Coal Ridge, which I guess I can work with for now. I'm just gonna remove the end there, so it's just Coal Ridge, Downtown, Lakeside, and Coal Ridge. And then I think we've got another district here, actually. We might... I'm not sure I'm gonna incorporate the hill because I still don't know what to actually do with this hill. So if you have any ideas, this is gonna be a special type of neighborhood, an old historic place, what's it gonna be? Let me know down below and we will we'll figure something out here, but I don't think I want to include it just yet in a district. So I gotta see where to actually branch off here. Maybe something like this. I guess this district is gonna turn out kind of weird, maybe. A bit of a weird shape, but it's not too bad. And I think I will name you Winter. For now, at least. So now we have Downtown, Winter, Lakeside, Coal Ridge, and out here we have Queen's Cape, the future posh suburban area. And I think we're ready to start developing. Like I said, we're not gonna focus on Downtown. I think we're gonna start with Lakeside and probably branch off into Coal Ridge. So as far as the type of developments and buildings we'll be using, I imagine the city is gonna have quite a bit of row housing, which is also very common in Boston. But not specifically in downtown. We're gonna have a bit of row housing here probably. It's gonna be some of the higher level older buildings from the European theme as well, to kind of showcase how old it is. But the majority of the row housing is going to be in the surrounding inner city areas. So Winter, Lakeside, and Coal Ridge. And then I'm gonna sprinkle in just a bit of medium density in these three neighborhoods as well to kind of mix it up a bit. But generally, most of the medium density and of course most of the high density is going to be centered around downtown. So for Lakeside in particular, it's going to be primarily row housing, but the medium density I am going to place is going to be alongside the major avenues here. you know, the strong connections to downtown and where you generally expect the biggest developments. So we're just gonna find it. I think I'm gonna expand it, and let's see, I'll grab the menu. I have North American theme selected. We will move into mixed use, and we'll go for medium density. And I don't think I'm gonna do any zone size, or sorry, lot size filtering. I think I'm just gonna pick and choose what seems right, what kind of development seems right for the area. So for instance, this mixed right building here is pretty much exactly what I'm looking for alongside the major avenues at least. So let's just get started. We'll place one of these here. I'd like to find something similar. We've got this one, quite a small one. Get that added in. I'll need another corner lot, but maybe a left version. Actually, let's just build one more of these right corner lots. We have a left here. This one is a bit taller, but I don't mind. We can place it in this block here between Hawthorne Street and King Street to kind of balance out that this one is kind of small. We've got another mixed left here, which I think we're gonna place down here then. Yoink. So it seems we've got most of our corner buildings sorted out now. Also, I don't really mind adding non-corner buildings to corners, because for many various weird reasons that also happens in real life cities. I think we're gonna add this one here. And I want to sprinkle in a bit of row housing facing Cozy Street. It's not going to be fully medium density, but maybe I'll see if I can just get in a bit more down here. And this one is actually pretty good. Just get that added. So do I grab some of the regular pieces, the non-corner pieces? Let's see, I have to zoom, get up here to actually find these. I think we might add one next to this one, and then this is what I talked about. I might just add a building here that isn't specifically a corner lot. Yank. And I completely forgot about apartments, but I guess it makes sense to actually have, you know, storefronts at the bottom here. So it's all right. What we can do is add in a few apartments that aren't facing the main avenues directly. Not all buildings have to. It's just, it makes a lot of sense, like from a urban development point of view. So I'll just add this in here. Let's see. Oh, this is way too big. This one is more like it. Maybe add in a few of these. 1 and 2. This one is too big. This one is just right, but I actually did use that. Can I find another variant? This one is a little bigger, but I guess we could have one of these as well. Maybe on the corner here. So having placed a couple of buildings, I'm just gonna zoom out, remove the UI and take a look. And this is pretty much the type of medium density development I want in this area. Now we just need the road housing, and I think I might actually try to see if I can zone some of this. This is a big if. I'm not really sure how this is gonna work, but maybe if I can like zone some of it and then manually place the rest, that could be a good compromise. At least I'm always trying to see if it's possible to kind of zone some stuff and then, you know, use plenty of trees and bushes to just kind of break it up and try to work with it in that way. The good thing here is that since these buildings are plopped with growable, I can actually add in paths to them so that I can kind of break up the zoning and get it to work exactly how I want here as well. And I think this is fine. I'll have to manually place row houses here on the corner. But here's one additional example where I can just bring this through. We can do the very same thing here. And yeah, I think it's ready for a little bit of zoning. Actually, can I add this so that I can actually zone a row house building here? North American medium density row housing. Let's just give this a go. It's obviously all gonna be level 1, so I'll probably have to manually replace some stuff and upgrade it. But for now, I just want to see how this kind of works out at least. And we'll have to be a little more careful here. with how deep these lots are, because we are facing the lake, and I probably need some kind of recreational space in the future, so I'm also kind of careful about that anyways. While this is growing, I think this main stretch here, it would be good to see if I can just squeeze in some kind of high density commercial, maybe US themed. Not a massive, oh yeah, okay, nothing like that. I don't want a massive building. So I'm wondering if I actually just need to go grab an office building instead, because these are quite sizable. Office, low density, and of course they are of no particular theme. And yeah, there's something here I kind of want to squeeze in, maybe something like this. Actually, I'll just add that right here. And one more next to this one with a bit of parking, just to kind of mix it up. And then since these are plopped, I should be able to enable Anarchy and add that so that I can get in a bit of additional row housing. And things actually spawn rather well. It helps that I have this custom the mod here, which adds these corner lots. That certainly helps quite a bit. And I mean, I could just move these a little closer to the road here, which would probably be a good idea, and squeeze in an additional row house. But I think this saves me quite a bit of time. And I actually just wanna quickly do a little test here. If I add in some of these fat, beautiful oaks here, just how nice is this going to look zoned? And we can of course remove these paths here. That might even add in a bit of extra space for zoning some stuff. It did not, but that's okay. That means things are as dense as they can get without manually placing it. So let's just get these added in between the houses here. And honestly, I don't think this is too bad. I mean, a couple of trees make all the difference. We can do a few tweaks here that is going to make it look a lot better though. So I'm gonna select this corner, this corner, this corner, all the corners. Yeah, and then I'm gonna move them forward to what looks to be like one extra zoning tile. Probably isn't, probably won't be growing naturally, but if I just grab the pickup mod, I should be able to relatively easily just squeeze in a couple of additional buildings here, and then I should be able to just do a quick little manual alignment of some of these. These are gonna be a bit squeezed, but I think that's fine. And we'll do the same thing over here, just kind of squeeze that in. Make sure it's somewhat aligned at least. And yeah, I mean, here we can just select the whole row of houses here, bring that forward, because that's going to leave a bit of extra space here. So we're just gonna grab a different variant, add in 2 of those, grab, move it, move that a bit. It's causing a bit of an issue back here, but we'll just delete that so that a smaller version is grown. And I mean, this looks pretty good. It's a pretty quick way, I think, to build an area like this. You know, not spend too much time, because yeah, I mean, we're trying to build a proper city here, so I can't stress too much about every single little district. That's just not gonna work out all that well. So let's just have a bit of an oddity here. Move in, grab in a couple of apple trees, why not? Maybe a London plane. Make it real bushy and nice. And then we've got a bit of a decision we can make here alongside Briar Rose Lane. As I see it, we can do one of two things. We can either grab all the houses here and move them a little closer to the lane so that we don't have this gap here. And this is caused because this is a bit of an odd road I've created in the road builder. Alternatively, we fill in this gap with some regular grass from one of these buildings, and then we add in a bunch of trees so that it's actually a bit of a feature here that the row houses are a little further back from the road. And I think I want to kind of try that, because that's not something I've really experimented with all that much before. So is this the grass surface being used? It is. Perfect. So I'm just gonna add in a massive grass surface here, snapping my way all through this, and this shouldn't override anything, and it doesn't. Just kind of expands on the grassy fields here. And then we are just gonna grab a bunch of different trees and kind of add these to a road and make it a bit more special to live on this side of this little lane here, because you just have a bit more space. You have this kind of front yard thing going on that the other row houses doesn't really have. And I'm just adding in a couple of different types of bushes, a few different types of trees. Very, very small amount of detailing, but if we take a look, I think it really makes this place a little more special. Just look at that. I'm adding in a few trees alongside these streets here. There are plenty of room between the streets and the buildings, so I'm just gonna add in a few different styles as well, and we'll take a look. That looks so cozy. I imagine this area is kind of expensive actually. You're very, very close to downtown, but it's probably a little more quiet, and you have, of course, you have a recreational area right next door. And an interstate, but I mean, this is the US, so you're never more than like 50 yards away from an interstate. And that's the case here as well. We are off to a really great start here in Lakeside, so I think I'm just gonna expand the road network a little bit by adding in an additional road here, because we have this big empty space, and I kind of want this to be relatively dense. So let's see, I'm gonna keep Anarchy on, otherwise I'm gonna delete some buildings I don't want to delete. And can I get it aligned perfectly? Almost perfectly, at least. Something like this. And I want more row housing here. So let's just add this in and add this in. And let's see, what are we looking for here? We're gonna break this into two, just like that. Let's get it all zoned up. This also turned out pretty good, and we've got some like San Francisco levels of elevation here, but fortunately it works kind of well with the row housing because they're only like one zoning tile wide. That really helps with the elevated terrain, and I guess you have some really impressive views of the forthcoming downtown skyline, as well as like just the natural scenery here. So very nice little place. Now I'm pretty interested in seeing how well zoning is gonna work on this eastern portion here of Lakeside, because the zoning tiles are quite narrow here. They're a little more messy, but I think the only way to really find out is just to do it. So I'm just gonna zone this out. Row houses at a cul-de-sac is probably a little weird, but I mean, I guess we'll just try it out and see how it actually looks. I don't mind things being slightly weird at times. Adds a bit of character, I feel. But yeah, we're gonna give this a go and see how it actually looks. And I haven't done anything to adjust the zoning here. So I haven't worked with, you know, the pavement path or like the pedestrian path or anything like that. I'm pretty much just zoning it the way it actually added in the zoning when I created this area. So yeah, that's certainly gonna be interesting. But let's just get it zoned out and see how it actually turns out. I think it's surprisingly good. I mean, especially given that we haven't added any bushes or trees just yet, so it kind of looks pretty barren. But I do think this is a situation where I kind of want to move these assets closer to the lane though, instead of filling it in with, you know, some grass surfaces, because we are very, very close to this on-ramp here. So I think just squeezing this a little closer to the actual lane would make a lot of sense. And I should use this tool instead. Grab the entire thing here, bring that a little closer. Although we have a bit more space here, so these can actually be kind of pushed back from the road. That adds a bit of variety to the area here, which I guess is just a good thing. The same here, it's fine that there's a little extra space, so I'm gonna move in with the surface tool either way it seems, just to add in a bit of extra stuff here. And now that this has turned out so nice, I kind of want to expand it to this side of the interstate as well. But that got me thinking, maybe I should break up this district, because I kind of want this hill here to be like one district that is named something hill. Yeah, very creative. But there are plenty of hills in Boston as well, so I'm really trying to take some inspiration from there. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pause the game, and then we are going to change the footprint of Lakeside so that it covers, you know, half the lake. And it basically ends around here, I guess. Something like this. And then we'll designate a new district here, which is then, well, it's this hill here. And let's just see. So I'll move across here, and maybe we should just go. I'm just gonna see if I can align it with the like geographical boundary of this hillside here, instead of trying to connect it to any specific network type. And actually, I think I'm gonna have to name the lake as well. I'm really trying to add in a bit of personality to this build. So we're going to kind of define the neighborhood here. Then we're gonna just make sure we don't have the actual lake here selected. And then I am going to disable snapping. Oh, enable snapping, disable Anarchy. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm gonna disable snapping and enable Anarchy, and then I'm just gonna do it my way. And it could be Sterling Lake, and this could be Sterling Hill. That's perfect. Let's see how that changed the demographics. So 471 residents here and 1537 here. So you can really feel that, of course, there are more row houses here, but we've also got that medium density stuff facing the avenue. Now, before I zone this out, there's something I have to fix, because I'm starting to have some garbage issues around here, as well as some diff care issues. And the main issue here isn't that it's not necessarily that I don't have the capacity to handle it, it's because I have it assigned to districts, because the Riverview Heights Recycling Center is like my primary provider of garbage trucks. And as you guys can see, it operates in certain districts because we also have a small recycling center out here in the town of Autumn that kind of handles a few other districts. And I don't really want to build a new like garbage collection or a waste management center here, because I am still bleeding money despite having added all these new people. So I think for now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna expand the operating districts of the Riverview Heights Recycling Center. And then fingers crossed that can actually, you know, that is actually going to be able to handle the waste production we're seeing in the new city, at least for a short while. And we're gonna have to do the same for our diff care. So let's see. We have the Riverview Crematorium here, and that seems to have like plenty of vehicles left at least. Oh, that's actually not assigned to a specific district. So I should see some hearses over here. Can I see if there's a hearse on the way? I don't know. It seems like I can't. Can we check if the hairstat is actually... No, this one is returning. That's a bit interesting. I mean, it should be able to reach this, but I guess we can wait. We can wait for a bit. This isn't like the biggest issue a city can face. We can wait and see if Kelly Shelby is actually gonna get picked up. Hopefully she is. But hopefully our trash situation is gonna be resolved. Let's continue work here on Sterling Hill, and I am really happy how this custom lane I created with the road bill. Oh, whoa, is oh no, oh man, yeah, rookie mistake or what? I'm not gonna clip this out. I'm gonna keep it in. It's kind of sobering. Oh, it actually kind of splits here now, so that there's parking on the other side. I like that. I'm just gonna use move it to see if I can make this node a little smoother. I can make the transition a little more smooth. And this time around, I would like to not delete the lane. Ah, perfect. Anyways, I kind of want to upgrade this lane here to this type of lane because, yeah, I'm really happy with how it's turned out with the parking lots here. But obviously, I still need space for like 2 rows of row housing, which seems I still have if I do like that. And then here we might flip it around to make it a little more... Actually, that's not gonna work. Just to make it a little more interesting. And once again, I don't think I'm gonna do a ton of changes here. I'm just gonna zone it. Although I might just try and upgrade this to a key so that I make sure the zoning is aligned to the lane. That did not work. So I'm going to do this and this, and then I'm gonna fill this out as soon as that starts developing. Actually, we can just test this. As soon as this starts developing, should be able to remove this and get a bit of development on the other side, but I'm not. Okay. Yeah, never mind. Will this... Oh, that will actually grow, so that's fine. We'll do something like this then. But I should actually... We're gonna remove this weird stop here. Get a bit more zoning in. And right up next to the interstate here. And then maybe we're just gonna do like a tiny park here. I actually don't think we can actually fit anything in here. It's probably too small for that. Yeah, even if there's no way even if I enable Anarchy, but maybe like an outdoor gym. Tennis court is a little too fancy, skate court is too big. Basketball court could actually fit here. I mean, that's kind of cool. It's gonna add a bit of land value as well. We'll get in an outdoor gym as well for people to use and enjoy themselves. Services, let's just expand a bit on the existing services we have, or services, sorry, that we have available. Bring the grass all the way over here. And obviously we'll add in trees as things are now developing. And I'm not gonna add sound barriers here. I don't think so, at least. Let's just check how it looks if I did. Nah, it's also gonna kind of mess up the custom road I have here. So I want to see if I can add in a key without messing anything up. Maybe, potentially not. I'm gonna add a key over here at least instead of a sound barrier, just so that there's a bit of a, what looks to be like a barrier at least, right? But then I think I'm just gonna keep this as is. It's a bit of a noisy area to live in, but I mean, that's gonna keep the overall cost of housing down, I guess, which is positive. And I guess I could use some of these smaller trees to just at least create a pretty thick like barrier of like vegetation and growth here, so that takes the brunt of the noise pollution, because otherwise it's probably even unlivable. Now we have certainly reduced our deficit by quite a bit, but we're not there yet, and I really want to see if I can turn a profit, maybe even by just expanding Sterling Hill. So I think I'm going to incorporate this part of the hill here, once again squeezed between Route 28 and the... Oh wait, this is named the same. I don't get this game, man. Anyways, this avenue we have down here. So I kind of want to expand the road layout here, but I want to do something a little different. I think I just want a... I want it to be like a one-way street, actually, that just kind of circles around this hill here. So I'm gonna enable contour lines. We'll move to about here. I'm using this custom version that is very, very narrow, only has parking on one side. And I think I'll branch down to maybe about here. And then I might actually just go straight south. 10 degrees, that's quite a bit. But I think you should be able to handle this in a decent car. Actually, in any car, unless there's snow everywhere. And then I kind of want to move to about here. I want to see if I can get like two... yeah, I'm gonna need to fix this. Upgrade, disable snapping. Because I need like 2 rows of housing here. That's what I want. So if I upgrade this to a key, yeah, that's gonna help. This is exactly what I want. Great. And then I need to... Actually, I wonder if I should just continue the street in this area here. Let's just select this, and then I need to make one connection up to this place at least. But I think for starters, we might actually just move through this area here just to get a bit more housing alongside the hill here. That is pretty good. Then we're gonna just soften the terrain here a bit so we don't have this weird protruding hill. Gonna soften this a little bit as well. And hopefully this allows for quite a bit of additional zoning. So which road do I want the zoning? Alongside Summit Street or down here? I think I want it down here. So for now, I'm gonna upgrade this to key segment till about here, because now we can zone on either side. And then let's get some more row housing going, because that I may just be able to go into the green with this addition here, which would be awesome. And let's just see, do I need to add the key here? Is this actually a lot? I don't even know if this is what I want. Probably something like this instead. And I'll zone this, and I'll zone this, and this is a little weird. I don't think I'm gonna build underneath the bridge here. Maybe a bit of industry at other places, but not here at least. Something like this should be pretty nice. And then I have a bit of extra space out here. Let's just see. First, I think I'm gonna grab manipulation mode and try to just fix the elevation here a little bit like that. And then I might just, I mean, can we have like a skate park or something? If I grab the alley here and just kind of bring that out to about here, and I grab the node and I say to object height to this node, it's not terrible. I might just lower both of these nodes actually. Yeah, I want it to be, I want the elevation changes here to be maybe just a bit more aggressive, something like that. Then I should be able to place my skate park. Sports parks, skate park, get that aligned. Something like this, bring it back a little. And we should be able to fix the issue we are seeing here by turning this into a key. That is a pretty cool location for a skate park. Now I'm gonna hit play and we should see things start developing. Actually, there's a... Oh, my zoning got messed up again. So now that things are growing, I'm obviously gonna add in a ton of trees to really complete the area. But I think one thing I'm gonna do first is gonna move in and grab the regular one lane, one way road and maybe just upgrade a few segments here, because these are actually just the same width because the road isn't there any narrower by me trying to make a narrow version, which I know is a little odd, but yeah. So I'm just gonna upgrade these segments, and then I think here it makes perfect sense that it's not as wide, and then this segment here, I think it makes sense as well to, in theory, be a little narrow, at least only have one parking lane as opposed to the two up here. So this is all turning out pretty nice. And I am really happy with how Sterling Hill has turned out. We've got a small gym, a basketball court, and I really love the location of this skate park down here. But I've just noticed that we've seen a massive bump in our hourly deficit. So let's just see what's actually going on here. We are starting to import a sizable amount of electricity. So let's just pause the game here. This is kind of what we talked about early on in the episode. Yeah, we have breached the 37 megawatts consumption rate. And as you guys know, we are only producing 37. So we'll need some kind of expansion. So what's it gonna be? More clean coal or green energy? I mean, I'm gonna be an annoying progressive here and say that we should probably expand on the Cape Autumn wind farm here. See if we can squeeze in a few more of these. So I am just gonna see. I mean, this is not gonna be a solution that's really gonna work long term for us, but this is actually a nice hill. We can, if we can place just a couple here, we can maximize production. So yeah, there's a ton of wind here actually. So if I place one here, then that's 5, and if I place one here, that's an additional 5, and then maybe I can place one more that is, you know, doesn't necessarily have to be as efficient, I guess. What if we move close to the train tracks? It's not too bad, so I'll place one there as well. And then I just need to, of course, add in the, I guess I don't really need to add in the lane here, but I'm gonna do it anyways because that looks good. Get this connection going. Yoink. And these two fellas over here. There you go, this one. Bring that one in. Of course, that also, oh, it actually, I mean, that carries the power lines, so that is necessary. And then what we've been utilizing is just the small roundabout here to create like a base. Yoink. Now this should bump our electricity production by almost 15 megawatts, like 13 at least if it's windy today. And it should alleviate some of our budget deficits. So let's just see. Decent production bump. And I am awaiting our imported electricity expenses to go away. Hello? Game? Man, you invest in some good green energy and oh, there it is. There it is. So why are we still bleeding money? Maybe my service upkeeps. I mean, it continues to. Oh, there you go. Now it's out of the window. So at least we're not importing anything anymore. But yeah, it's still not great. And to make the financial matters worse, I can't continue trying to leech off of the services provided by Chowder Bay because I'm having issues with garbage piling up, and I am awaiting hearses pretty much everywhere. So I need some sort of recycling or garbage pickup within the city, and I need a cemetery or crematorium as well. Let's start with the death care. I have some custom options here, which is very nice because the cemetery is very expensive, 27,000 upkeep, The crematorium is 22,000 upkeep. So some of these customers options are gonna be a real savior here, also because I don't think I need that much currently. But we have the medium cemetery here with an upkeep of 6,500 storage capacity. That is so morbid. It can store 500 corpses, by the way. 6 hearses. It's a pretty sizable asset, so I need to get creative here. I don't want to change any of the road layouts. Cemetery Hill? Is that what we're calling this? Cemetery Hill? Or maybe we're placing it closer to downtown. What about Winter Cemetery? Like right here. I mean, that's gonna be a bit of a squeeze, isn't it? Let's just try Cemetery Hill for now. So I'm gonna place it up on the hill, and we're gonna have a little road to snake its way up here. Just placing that, and then let's go ahead and grab. Maybe we'll grab the small, the narrow one-way road, this one here. And we're just gonna make sure we have a piece right out front so that it has road access, and then let's just get that connected. -5, that is fine, and let's see, +14, that's not fine, that's not gonna cut it. So I guess I need to kind of see if I can make a more smooth transition. Something like this, and to about here. And just connect this up, and then I'll try to move it to, actually this looks all right. I don't think there's any, doesn't seem like there's any fixing needing here. I need to add manipulation mode though, so that I can grab this part of the node here and just kind of lower that down a bit. Very nice. I want this a little better integrated with the surrounding areas here, so we're gonna move in with better Bulldozer, and at the very minimum get rid of the fences and these bushes here. And then I kind of want to get rid of this grass surface as well. And then I need to expand on these paths here to kind of make it fit this space a little better. So I'm just gonna do a little terraforming, just kind of try and smooth out some of the edges here. Something like this. And we'll move into surfaces, and this looks like one of the vanilla tiles. Of course, we can actually just expand from it, then I don't have to actually find it. We have snapping enabled. Let's create an additional node. If I can create yeah, I've got an additional node now. It looks a little funky. Well, let's just bring this down here. See if I can get this alignment right. No, we will disable snapping. Fine. Actually, I am going to find this tile and draw it out myself. It's tile 01. That's great. I think that's just gonna be easier actually. Enable snapping so that I can just make a direct connection down here. What? Oh man, why is that brighter? I was certain this was the tile set. Okay, I'll branch out manually. Alright, so I did end up using a slightly different tile variation, but it's not enough of a problem to really bother me. I'm gonna use the picker mod to try and select a few of these, and maybe just add in like a row of 2 of like different type of graves. I'm just trying to kind of expand on the footprint of the original cemetery here just a little bit, just to make it fit in a little nicer with, you know, everything else we have here. So it's just gonna be a real quick and dirty here, adding in a few different graves here. So this is about the extent where the cemetery has expanded as of recent. That is absolutely fine. I may do like, no, actually I'm not gonna do anything here. And then it's just a matter of adding in a ton of trees and bushes and whatnot, making this place look real nice. I'm also considering making it like a small, a very small, like separate district actually, because I think like calling this Cemetery Hill and making it a district would just be a bit of a no-brainer really. So I am actually going to, once again, it's just to kind of personalize things a little bit more for you guys and for myself as well. It's going to make the city more interesting in the long run. So I'm just going to reduce the size of Coleridge a little bit, and then we'll create a new little district here, which we are going to call Cemetery Hill. And we're actually going to make sure we get a bit of zoning going here as well. We are going to add, I think we're going to add a bit of row housing actually. Maybe even a, let's see, a low rent housing unit here. And then we're going to go for some row housing. Actually, can we go for a bit of medium density right there? We can. Do I want a single mixed use? No, we're going to go straight row housing. And I think, yeah, that's going to align to Cozy Street, so that's perfect. And then I just need to add in a few more trees and bushes here to make sure that it looks good. While this is growing, let's name it Cemetery Hill. And of course, the cemetery itself is a bit of a recreational spot, you know. It's a nice spot for getting in like a little walk, enjoying a bit of nature right here and well close to the heart of the city. So I'm just going to add some invisible pedestrian paths to make sure that the new tiles we added are going to see some use as well. So we just make sure we get all this stuff connected up so that you can choose to go for a nice little walk here. And we are probably gonna see people take a stroll here as well. Although I don't think the cemetery actually adds like any park value or whatever you'd call it. Hopefully we'll see some people. I considered adding like a key wall here, but I think instead I am going to just create my own bushes. So I'm gonna grab the apple tree, and in the biggest version, then we're gonna enable Anarchy, and we're gonna lower it about 4 meters into the ground so that it just looks like a big bush. And then I'm just gonna pretty much just cover up much of the small hill here leading up to the interstate. And then I may add like a key wall instead to the. No, I'm not gonna. That's what I just said I won't do. Whatever. We're adding bushes. Cool. So Cemetery Hill is just about developed, and I guess we actually get quite a few households due to this 332 Cozy Street developing our first low rent housing here in the city. Now I need the garbage handling as well. First I'm just gonna grab the cemetery here, select operating districts, and then I'm gonna make sure that it is isolated to the island here, to the new city here. And then we've got a spot here where I need to place some garbage handling. And once again, I've got a few custom assets that are really nice because they're quite cheap. The vanilla assets are very, very expensive. And this rural recycling center is, it has less capacity, or at least fewer garbage trucks than the others, but the upkeep is only $300 a month, which is, I mean, that's arbitrarily low compared to the others. So it is a bit gamey to use this, but I need a solution now that is not too expensive. And I also just want to, you know, increase the asset variety as much as possible, as long as we don't have proper custom assets. So I am going to cheese a bit and grab this one. I hope you guys will forgive me for that decision now that we have added an insanely expensive hospital without actually needing it just yet. Yeah, I'm trying to defend myself here because I know I'll be standing trial for you guys in the comment section. But we're gonna do the same. We're gonna select the rural recycling center here, and then we're gonna say this is isolated to the new city here. And I mean, I guess you can pick up garbage from the lake if that was possible. But it seems like all the vehicles actually spawned immediately, so I'm hopeful that's gonna help a bit with some of our, you know, the hospital and whatnot. And speaking of the hospital, I have noticed a bit of an issue with the custom way I've built it here. there's like a spot here where the ambulances kind of return to, I guess, deliver a patient or whatever, and it's located kind of weirdly. So I am going to save, and then I'm gonna grab these two bad boys here, and I'm gonna move, wait, both of them, thank you. I'm gonna move them way back here as much as possible, actually. Something like, let's just see, something like this maybe. Obviously I'm gonna have to remove some stuff here and turn this into a key wall, but I'm gonna bring this back, and then I want like a dedicated lane to run in front of the hospital here, because hopefully it's gonna look a little less weird when the ambulances use that instead. So I'm gonna enable Anarchy, and I'm gonna branch out from about here and connect to the avenue here, and then I think we'll disable the traffic light, the crossings, and disallow left turns so that I don't actually have an intersection here. I think this is the solution we'll be going for now. I could probably jump into the asset editor and really nerd out and try to actually fix where the ambulances, you know, connect and whatnot, but that's just gonna be for another day at least. And I just want to check how it looks back here. It looks pretty sweet. Fortunately, it doesn't really, there's not a problem with it kind of clipping into the road. And then just hit play and see if that's actually gonna work. I mean, it looks better. This is a much better solution than before, because they're just gonna clog up the avenue here and cause a ton of issues. So it's gonna be interesting to see if the garbage trucks actually prioritize the hospital. I kind of hope so, because it's kind of wrecking the efficiency as long as they don't. Let's see, where do we have them? Nowhere. Where am I? Oh, did they? Yeah, okay. So I guess they spawned right before I actually designated that it should only serve these districts. And it's taking a little while for our guys to kind of figure that out. So, very successful. Hopefully once they're done collecting, they'll realize that they are actually restricted to this area. But I think that's gonna be a wrap for this episode. Time just completely escaped me, so I obviously haven't edited this yet, but I'm pretty certain this episode is gonna be way too long. But I was just so excited to finally get building here, and what a start we've got here. I gotta be honest, we've progressed much further than I anticipated for this episode. Very happy with how some of our focal important services and infrastructure has turned out, and we've got most of our services covered. We still have some stuff we need, which is yeah, it's looking kind of grim with the economy. I'm hopeful that now we are sort of, you know, established service wise, we can really just continue expanding in the upcoming episode and really bring in a ton of tax revenue and hopefully turn the financial situation around. Or it's gonna be a massive embarrassment, but we'll see, we'll see. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for all the support, all the cool suggestions and all that other good stuff, and thank you for sticking around for this super long video. As always, I'll be wrapping up with some final cinematics, and I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Goodbye.